Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the MOTORDROME Speedway. Tonight on Mother's Day weekend, Miley Motorsports has provided free flowers for all the moms in attendance, and we will present to you 5 divisions of the NASCAR Whelen All-American Series. At this time, we will begin with our opening ceremonies. We ask that all of you please rise with us in the grandstand area, and if you are moving around on the midway, please pause with us for our opening ceremonies, and gentlemen, remove your caps. Joining us here on the front straight for our invocation this evening, Napa NASCAR Super Late Model driver John Messenger, and to perform our national anthem, Mrs. Melissa Grimm. At this time, we turn the microphone over to Mr. John Messenger.
Please bow your heads. Lord, we thank you for this beautiful day and this great country that we live in. We want to remember everyone who has given their life for this country and who has given everything possible to make our way of life sustained. Lord, we thank you for everything that you do for us. Please forgive us for our sins and take us to heaven. In your holy and precious and loving name, we beg you, please. Amen.
And please remain standing for our national anthem by Melissa Grimm.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Melissa Grimm and John Messenger. And now, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to go NASCAR racing? And the 34 is Aaron Minjock. Minjock family out there as the green flag waves for the first Yellow Book Charger. 6-lap preliminary heat race. Matt Gardner with an early jump in car 7. The West Side Lube and Tire sponsored Mag Racing Monte Carlo number 7 out to an early lead with defending track champion Tracy Keller in car number 1 moving into the 2nd position. Robbie Hott moved up from the Demolition Derby ranks to be an oval track racer into the 3rd position. The 7 driven by Matt Gardner. Last season he was a 3-time heat race winner, but still seeks his first career feature win in this division after moving up from the American Flyers division. Driver in 2nd position to Gardner is Tracy Keller from Mount Pleasant in car number 1. Last season a 5-time feature winner and track champion. He also won 6 heat races. Best battle is for 4th, 3-car strong teammates, the 48 of Ed McConnell and the 68 of Ed Neidhart. And right there is the 34 of Aaron Minjock. Minjock was a 2-time feature winner last season, and he gets a little squirrely on the front straightaway. Teammates are side by side in the battle for 4th. Neidhart, with a couple years experience in this division now, and rookie McConnell in the 48, now falling back into the 6th spot as Minjock in 34 takes that position away. 2 laps remaining in the first Yellow Book Charger heat race. Matt Gardner out front all by himself. Gardner in car number 7 from Roughdale, a teammate to points leader in the division, Jimmy Stokes, as he will see the white flag this time around. Gardner in the 7, Tracy Keller in the 1, Robbie Hott in the 16 car. Robbie Hott, a terrific story. The driver of car number 16 spent most of the early part of this decade dominating demolition derbies at local racetracks and made a successful conversion to oval track racing. Matt Gardner takes the checkered flag over Tracy Keller. Robbie Hott into 3rd, Ed Neidhart in 4th, and Aaron Minjock in 5th. Out of the 95 from West Newton, Jimmy Stokes. Green flag is out, 6 laps the distance for the Chargers. These cars are all automatic transmission, 8-cylinder rear-wheel drive American-built cars modified for driver safety. And Roger Bryan in car 12 having a tough transition from the 4-cylinder American Flyers, moving up this year to the Charger division. Drops anchor back to the 5th spot. Mike Lemley, the early leader, in 4. Mike Lemley's Monte Carlo has a fresh coat of paint on it, as he has raced for many, many years here and brought out that car at the end of last season. Jeff Giles Jr. in the 50 car in 2nd spot during his championship season. Driver in 2nd spot won 13 features in this division. Working lap 2 of 6, Lemley the leader. Giles in 2nd, and all the way up from the last starting position, it's current points leader Jimmy Stokes in car 95. Stokes has 2 wins in the opening 2 nights of racing as the Giles car, losing some maybe fluid or maybe tire smoke. I'm not sure what that was out of the 50 car. Jeff Giles in 50 waving to the competitors behind him that he is off the pace. Looked like possibly some overflow steam from the radiator of the 50 car. And he's going to pull to the pit area. That relinquishes 2nd spot to Jimmy Stokes, the 2-time winner. In 3rd, Jimmy Christoffel, who has a pair of 2nd place feature finishes in 2007. Driver of the 04 in the 3rd spot, Jimmy Christoffel, a sophomore to the Charger division, and 2 2nd place finishes finds him 2nd in the point standings after our first 2 weeks of racing. Leader Mike Lemley sees the white flag. Lemley was a big, big winner in this division in 2004. He took off the 2005 season, then prepared this car, and with a fresh coat of paint, he's back up to full speed, just like the good old days. Mike Lemley takes the checkered flag. Jimmy Stokes in 2nd. Bill Oldham spins the 5 car on the final lap, handing the 5th spot over to Roger Bryan of Smithton in car 12. He gets set to go 8 laps of racing for the Subway Street Stocks. Bill Henry, Sean Phillips, row 1. The Kostelnik brothers in row number 2. Here's the green flag. Andrew Kostelnik. The 57 car makes it 3 wide on the front straight. A trio of Monte Carlos into turn number 1. Sean Phillips in car number 31. Leading by just a bit. He is 2nd in the point standings coming into tonight, and Andrew Kostelnik in the 57 wants to take the lead. Looks like a parade lap as we complete the first of 8 laps for the Subway Street Stocks. Door-to-door contact all through 2nd through 5th, and it's Bill Henry who comes out with the runner-up spot after Andrew Kostelnik has to back off, and his brother Adam might have made contact with the outside wall there. Adam Kostelnik and Dustin Blank and Bill Ashton all getting together there. Kostelnik in the 05 had been riding in 3rd. He's now all the way back off the scoreboard into the 6th position, and we have a fight for the lead. Bill Henry in car number 64, one of the oldest racing chassis still in competition at Motordrome. The 64 car has been a pure stock, a street stock for many, many years, both divisions. And Sean Phillips in car 31 looking to win his first heat race of the season. Sean Phillips holding off Bill Henry in 64, and then the battle for 3rd. Door to door, it's the 35 of Ashton and the 94 of Dustin Blank. Here comes Adam Kostelnik marching back into the top 5 in the 05. Heated battle for the lead, heated battle for third. Working lap 5 of 8, Bill Henry in the 64 car, able to reach out and touch the rear bumper of Sean Phillips in the 31. Phillips, running for the championship for the first time in his career, will make every start this season in the quest for the track title, as there are 2 laps to go, and veteran Bill Henry is pouring all over him for the lead in this first of 2 Subway Street Stock Heat races. Battle for third has settled down just a bit with Ashton in the 35, a leader of last week's feature, with last week's winner Adam Kostelnik right in tow. At the wave of the white flag, we'll see if Henry has enough to challenge Phillips. Turns 1 and 2 the final time. Henry in the 64 just falling back a few feet from the rear bumper of Phillips. Meanwhile, a challenge for third develops behind them with Kostelnik prying open the inside lane on Ashton. At the wave of the checkered flag, Henry dirt tracks the car, but it won't be enough. Sean Phillips gets the win. Jason Holder in the 74 with 1 feature win last year, and Max Schlesinger in 66. Here comes the green flag. Jason Holder in car 74 out in front. He was one of many leaders of the feature event last week. 3 wide into turn 3, fight for 4th. You'd never know that the heat races didn't pay money. All they're doing is fighting for feature starting spots. They're already trading paint. Chaos settles down. Jason Holder the leader, Max Schlesinger second, and there's Manganello spinning to the inside. Clairton, Pennsylvania's Tony Manganello spins the 50 car but continues on. Green flag racing resuming as the 74 of Holder leads him back to the stripe to begin working lap 2. A sportsmanlike gesture on the part of Tony Manganello in the 50 car to continue without bringing out the caution flag. And Schlesinger pulls off the pace. Second place car is down to the inside looking to pit this lap. Max Schlesinger in car 66 headed pit side. Jason Holder now all by himself out in front. Monte Carlo leading the Ford Thunderbird of Joe Nicola. Nicola last season won 5 heat races and 4 feature events. Jason Holder last season winning the opening night feature event, and with brand new sheet metal on that car, he will see the signal of crossed flags indicating halfway through the Subway Street Stock Heat. Holder in car 74 is a many-time winner here at Motordrome and at Jennerstown Speedway, nearer to his home in Stoystown. Joe Nicola in second, one of several racing Nicolas in several divisions here from the Pittsburgh area each Friday at Motordrome. Dave the Hammer Tavermina into the 3rd spot with that backup car, and then the 15 of Jonathan Heilman, the Bell Vernon driver, into 4th. Special thanks again to the Subway restaurants and franchisees Ray and Marcy Tokar and Paul and Sharon Hill, whose participating locations are part of the Subway Street Stock Challenge. We'll have more on that later in tonight's show as the Subway feature draws near. Jason Holder in car 74 takes the white flag. Final time around as the cars are spaced out around the speedway after chaos for the first 2 laps. 3 wide almost all the way around on lap number 1, and then settled in several car lengths apart, taking the victory, the 74 of Jason Holder from Stoystown. be the 21 of three-time champion Rick Miller from Dunbar. The 18 is Chad Hemphill, 8 Dan Lewis, Mark Catone in 31. 20 is Ricky Megley, as we are green and racing for 10 laps of the Napa NASCAR Super Late Models. John Messenger in the 51, Todd Price in the 15 car, battling door to door for the lead on lap 1. Chevrolet Monte Carlo to the inside, Ford Taurus to the outside. The Mans Racing Machine, number 15. Last year, the driver Brandon Mans, a new father, sitting out the season with his family, and Todd Price, the hired gun. Sean Pilla in the 5 car, feeling the pressure of Rick Miller on lap number 2. Rick Miller, who earned 3 Motordrome Track Championships driving car number 25 with a new paint scheme on the Zoom Internet Brooks Automotive Group 21 car, makes the high side work to take 3rd from Sean Pilla, challenging West Virginia's John Messenger. At the scoring line, working lap number 3, John Messenger was officially 2nd position on the racetrack, but Rick Miller has cleared him to the outside. Caution flag on the speedway. Caution flag is out. The 18 of Chad Hemphill spins on the back straight. Price now in the Mans Ford Taurus, leading the Monte Carlo of John Messenger and the Pontiac Grand Prix of Rick Miller. Green flag is out. 7 laps remaining. Miller immediately moves to the outside of John Messenger, the 3-time track champion and former ASA National Traveler, moving into the 2nd spot. Messenger back to 3rd, Sean Pilla in 4th, and a great run for Dan Lewis in 5th, ahead of former champion Mark Catone in 31. Challenge for the lead headed into turn 3. The 15 of Todd Price on the outside, 21 of Rick Miller on the inside. Signal given of crossed flags halfway through this 10-lapper, and the new leader is Rick Miller. Miller, who competed recently in the ASA Series event at the Toledo Speedway, taking the lead now in his first Motordrome start with the NASCAR Whelen All-American Series in 2007. Todd Price hanging on to 2nd, but now will feel the pressure of John Messenger. Messenger, the former West Virginia Dirt Track Limited Late Model champion, into 3rd. Sean Pilla in 4th, breaking away from the rest of the field. It's Dan Lewis in 5th and Mark Catone in 6th. Working lap number 7. And a battle on the track for the 5th spot, headed down the back straight. Mark Catone, the 2-time Motordrome champion from McKeesport in car 31, looking under the 8 of Dan Lewis. Lewis has won in 2 different divisions here at Motordrome, the trucks and the Chargers. He's going to have his hands full on these final 2 laps, holding off Mark Catone. Meanwhile, 3-car fight for 2nd. Leader Rick Miller out all by himself, but Todd Price in the 15 trying to make that Ford Taurus bumper as wide as he can, with John Messenger challenging. It's the final lap, and Messenger in the Cochran Construction Auto Trim Advanced Auto Parts Monte Carlo number 51, trying to hold off the 5 of Sean Pilla and try and make a move for the 2nd spot on Todd Price. But out of turn 4 in his first start of the season, 3-time champion Rick Miller takes the checkered flag, and John Messenger grabs 2nd at the line. Hard crash as Jimmy Weller, the 3rd, spins out of turn 4 and collects Chad Hemphill. Hard impact here on the front straight as Jimmy Weller, the 3rd, in car number 23 from Hubbard, Ohio, with no place to go as Chad Hemphill spun. Connellsville, the points leader in the 11. Glenn Galt Jr. in 32. Former champ Gary Wiltrout in 95. 69 is Dave Merrow, and we're underway with heat race number 2. Another 10-lap preliminary heat race for the Napa NASCAR Super Late Models. Steve Black in the 1. And 3 wide on the back straight, never a good idea. Neil Brown backs off, and Komarinsky spins with Greg Kelly in 44. Dave Merrow loops the 69 car as well. John Komarinsky, the popular veteran, opening night winner in the Rolling Rock 33, getting together and almost locking sides with the 44 of Greg Kelly. With NASCAR racers from all over America. And Steve Black and Will Thomas lead them to the green flag for this 10-lap heat race. Steve Black in car number 1 falling back to 3rd. Bobby Henry in the 11, moving to the outside lane to challenge leader Will Thomas, but they're 3 wide again in turn 3. Always a bad idea, and this time Steve Black collecting Greg Kelly and John Komarinsky. Green flag stays out. Kelly heads to the pits with severe damage to Komarinsky's 33, and now we will have a caution. 1 lap officially completed. Caution flag for Steve Black, and more damage to Komarinsky's car. More damage to Greg Kelly, who's now limping into the pits with a flat right rear tire. Green flag is out. Will Thomas in the 9 leads him to the green flag. Still trying to complete lap 1 of this 10-lap heat race. Door to door, Will Thomas and Bobby Henry. Neil Brown, last week's winner, looming in 3rd. Thomas in car number 9. In his first visit to Motordrome Speedway, finished top 5 in a 100-lap event back in 2005. And Bobby Henry, one of the most dominant winners in all of Motordrome history as a former limited late model champion, on the dirt track surface of Motordrome Speedway, takes to the lead. Neil Brown and Will Thomas fighting for 2nd now. Neil Brown in the 98 won special events in his 2 years of dirt track racing and returned to victory lane last week at Motordrome in his 2nd asphalt start in only 2 years. Brown using the lowest line of the speedway with Will Thomas in car 9 above him. Side-by-side racing allows Bobby Henry to move out to the lead, and Brown now clears Thomas for the 2nd position. Gary Wiltrout is the man in 4th, who may also be gaining on Thomas. Working lap number 4 of 10, Bobby Henry. In the Stone & Company Megan Ford Taurus out in front. Neil Brown and Will Thomas with Chevrolet Monte Carlos in 2nd and 3rd. And then the Ford of Wiltrout, the former track champion, in 4th. Glenn Galt Jr. in the 5th spot. Working lap 7 of 10, Bobby Henry the leader over Neil Brown, Will Thomas, Gary Wiltrout as the cars spaced out around the speedway. Tough break for Greg Kelly, Steve Black, and John Komarinsky, all pit side at the start of this event. And Glenn Galt Jr. is off the pace in the 32 car. The Snow King aluminum roof system Ford of Glenn Galt Jr. not up to speed with the white flag in the air. Bobby Henry, car number 11 last season, a winner of 10 preliminary heat races and 6 feature events. Yet to find victory lane in 2007, but as the points leader, he will win heat race number 2 for the Napa NASCAR Super Late Models. Ship. 8 laps the distance for the Lincoln Welders Modifieds. Panaya and Scott on the front row. Green flag is out. Gary Scott breaks away with a big lead. Behind him, cars stacked up wheel to wheel. Matt Panaya from Plumboro in 32. Harry Ofer from Bell Vernon in 01 and the 47 of McManus. Dave McManus in the outside lane of the Speedway. Last week was his first start in this brand new car, and he drove it into the top 5 in the feature event. Here comes Rick Huffman in car 9 from Jefferson Hills, easily the most improved driver from last season. Huffman with a pair of great finishes in our first 2 rounds of racing this year. McManus now slows out of turn 2 and lets Panaya, Harry Ofer, and George Nicola into 2nd, 3rd, and 4th positions. McManus now wheel to wheel with the 9 of Rick Huffman. Gary Scott in car 16 out to an early lead. He won a heat race last week in car 16. A season ago, he had 7 heat race victories, and he's got this one in command by half a straightaway at the halfway point. Matt Panaya in car 32 is in the 2nd spot. Panaya seeking a career first feature victory, wins a couple of heat races almost every season, looking for his first feature win in car 32. And look at the 01 of Harry Ofer. He and the 97 of George Nicola tangled last Friday while battling for the win in the feature event, and now they're fighting for 3rd in this heat race. Nicola on the outside, Ofer on the inside, both closing on the 32 of Panaya, who rides in 2nd. 2 laps to go this time. Panaya had to back off the throttle for a loose handling condition in turn 4. And George Nicola, the 97 car, the Pittsburgh driver, climbing to the high side of the Speedway. Panaya in 32, dropping to the inside. Ofer in the 01 makes rear bumper contact. 3 cars fighting for 2nd. Nicola may have secured that position as they approach the white flag final time around. Action settling down in the top 5 positions and into turn number 3. The dirt track modified veteran and multi-time go-kart champion from Irwin, Pennsylvania, Gary Scott will take the checkered flag. George Nicola, after heavy damage to that car in last week's feature, coming home 2nd. Harry Ofer, Jim Nicola, and Rick Huffman. From Jefferson Hills, the 3 is modified rookie Chris Brink, and the 7 is Ben Easler from Allison Park. Green flag in the air, another 8-lap preliminary for the Lincoln Welders Modifieds. Tom Frank in car 6, the early leader. The teenager from the Cleveland suburbs out in front. Up to 2nd, the 99 of Bo Glemba, a 2-time feature winner last season. Lonnie Hoffman in that brand new car in the 58, riding in 3rd. 3rd place machine, Lonnie Hoffman, his 2nd year of modified competition, a brand new left-hander chassis with only 1 race on it to this point, holding off the Viglione Motorsports number 60 of Adam Kostelnik in 4th. Kostelnik, the points leader and 3-time champion of the division. Tom Frank maintains his lead. Frank with a 2nd place finish in the feature last week, and Charleroi Bo Glemba, the 99, right on his heels. Glemba has multiple feature wins in this division. 3rd running Adam Kostelnik with 60 career wins, same as the car number after last week's triumph, and seeking his first feature win, the 6 of Tom Frank spins in turn 3. 58 of Lonnie Hoffman, 3 of Chris Brink, and the 7 of Ben Easler. Kostelnik in 60, Brian Shipp in the 40. Green flag comes out, Kostelnik jumps to the high lane and makes a pass of Glemba before the start-finish line. And now 2 orange automobiles up front, the 6 of Tom Frank and the 60 of Adam Kostelnik. En route to his championship last season, Kostelnik won 6 heat races and 4 features. Tom Frank in the 6 car, a heat race winner last season, looking for another checkered flag in the stands transmissions number 6. Working lap 4 of 8, Kostelnik looks to the low side. Glemba hangs on to 3rd. Ben Easler slowing off the pace on the back straight. Easler may have received some damage from that collision. And they're wheel-to-wheel for second now. Bo Glemba mounts a challenge in car 99. Kostelnik's car seems a little bit loose working lap number 5 as he was trying to pry the lead away from Tom Frank. He allowed Bo Glemba to sneak up and challenge for the runner-up spot. More wheel-to-wheel racing up front. Tom Frank and Adam Kostelnik out of turn number 4. Frank still hangs on to the lead with 2 laps to go. Nearly making contact in turn number 2. Tom Frank, the teenager, to the inside. Adam Kostelnik, the 60-time feature winner, on the outside. Frank holds the lowest possible line of the speedway and will see the white flag, leading just by inches at the line. This time they do make contact in turns 1 and 2. Bo Glemba in the 99 car watches from 3rd spot. Kostelnik to the high line. Tom Frank maintaining the inside. Final corner to the checkered flag. Heat race win will go to Adam Kostelnik in car 60. Chris Spadacine outside. The 95 of Tony Dukic. 6 is Frank Pagnotta. 61, Ron Eifert III, last week's heat winner. 77 is Jay Matthews. 05 is Andy Giles. 51, Kevin Ludwig. 16 is Ed Deneen. 86, Ed Washabaugh, the rookie. Look at the action as Jay Matthews in the 77 threads the needle between Ron Eifert in 61 and Tony Dukic in 95. Still 3 wide in turn 4. Driver of the 44 car is Mary Catherine Shimko. We had a musical tribute to her earlier in the evening. They were 4 wide out of turn 2 that time. Ed Deneen, a former champion in the 16. Andy Giles, the 05. Last week he finished 2nd by a half an inch. All the way to the top side of the speedway and into the wall is the 86 of Washabaugh. Ed Washabaugh is 3rd in the point standings. He's finished in the top 5 in his only 2 racing starts of his life. And now we finally see some elements of being a rookie as Washabaugh made contact with the outside wall. Jay Matthews all by himself in that Dodge Daytona out in front. And we got Cavaliers in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Tony Dukic in the 95, Ed Deneen in the 16, and Ron Eifert in 61. Deneen, last week's winner, taking over 2nd spot, while Jay Matthews in the MAG Racing Team 77 is all by himself. Final lap for Jay Matthews. Mopar fans, get ready to cheer as that Dodge Daytona put a hurtin' on this field. Ed Deneen is up to 2nd. Tony Dukic is 3rd. Here comes the checkered flag. Jay Matthews with the win for the MAG Racing Team. Deneen into 2nd. Tony Dukic hangs on to 3rd, and just by inches, the 6 of Frank Pagnotta getting the 3rd spot over the 61 of Ron Eifert. Yellow Book Charger feature event is green. On the hammer, the leader, Jimmy Christoffel, and outside pole sitter, Bob Garchak Jr. 3 wide through turn number 1. Garchak in the middle now of Robbie Hott on the inside and Mike Lemley on the outside. Christoffel pulls away with a 3 or 4 car length advantage. Here comes Matt Gardner up to 4th. And on the front straight, Tracy Keller in the 1 and Bob Garchak in the 44 race door-to-door for 5th spot. Challenge for the lead quickly as the 4 of Mike Lemley diving to the inside of the 04 of Jimmy Christoffel. Christoffel has been kept out of victory lane for his first career win 2 weeks in a row by Jimmy Stokes, who started last. Officially working lap number 2 of 15. The 4 of Mike Lemley is the leader. Christoffel in the 04 now has to fight off the 7 of Matt Gardner to maintain the 2nd spot. Gardner in 3rd, then Robbie Hott with an excellent run in the 16 car. trouble on the end of the front straight. 34 of Aaron Minjock spinning in front of the points leader and in front of the 48 of McConnell. On lap number 3, Aaron Minjock gets back on the throttle and the green flag stays out. Last year, Minjock was a 2-time feature winner. Tonight he has his troubles but continues on. Working lap number 4. Leader is car number 4, Mike Lemley. Lemley in 2004 was a big winner in this division. And he's got action happening all over the speedway. Jeff Giles Jr. is pitting. Meanwhile, the battle for second finds Matt Gardner dirt tracking through turn 4, and Christoffel in the 04 holds him off. Working lap 5 of 15 behind leader Mike Lemley, an intense battle for second position. The Monte Carlo of Matt Gardner, sponsored by Westside Lube and Tire and the Mag Racing Team, and the 04, Jimmy Christoffel's car, which carried Bobby Shipp to a Charger Division Track Championship 2 years ago in a heated war for second position. Behind those drivers, another heated battle. Robbie Hott in the 16 car, that Chevy Malibu, holding off defending track champion in the Yellow Book Chargers, Tracy Keller's car number 1. Keller has struggled this season without winning a heat race so far. He was the biggest winner of last season en route to the championship. And here he is in 5th spot as Robbie Hott in the 16 car holds off the defending track champ. Working lap number 7 now, Mike Lemley out in front all by himself in car 4. Lap number 9 of 15. Mike Lemley the leader, Jimmy Christoffel in second for the 3rd week in a row. Matt Gardner in the 7 car is 3rd, then Robbie Hott in 4th, and a fight for last year's biggest winners. Jimmy Stokes in the 95 car has climbed up from the last position to challenge Tracy Keller. He has moved around the 1 car into the 5th spot and looking to pull up to the rear bumper of Robbie Hott in 4th position. Stokes, the points leader, has won both features so far this season. And after starting in about the 13th spot this week, he has climbed into the top 5. Stokes now moves to the inside to battle with Robbie Hott. Into turn number 1, and Stokes slides that car into the grass. Points leader is off the racing surface on lap 11. The points leader is in danger of going a lap down as he is parked on the apron in turns 1 and 2. Stokes, the 2-time winner, pulls back onto the speedway. It's lap 12. Leader Mike Lemley has set sail from the battle for second position. In the center of the back straight, the 4 car of Lemley looking ahead to lap traffic. He has the entire Minjock family blocking the racing grooves in front of him as he is about to put a lap on the 41 of Al Minjock. Jimmy Christoffel holds on to second in the 04. Matt Gardner in the 7 car is 3rd with 2 laps to go. Robbie Hott in sole possession of 4th after the Jimmy Stokes spin. White flag waving for Mike Lemley, the driver of car number 4 from Dawson, Pennsylvania. Looking to find victory lane for the first time in more than 2 years after he took off the entire 2005 season. He returned and played just a bit in the Charger Division last year, and with the 2nd and 3rd place cars gaining quickly on him toward the checkered flag, Mike Lemley gets the win over Jimmy Christoffel, 2nd for the 3rd week in a row, and Matt Gardner 3rd. Well, Mike, I talked to you a couple weeks ago, and we talked about how many feature victories you have in your career. Can you better estimate tonight about how many times you've been in victory lane here?
You know what? My dad's the one who usually keeps track. How many, Bone? This will be number 15? 15 or something like that, yeah.
About 15 wins, and fans in 2005 didn't see much of you. You came out a little bit last year. Tell us what brought you back to victory lane and how you've changed this car in the last year or so.
Al, you know what? I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for like my family, my dad, my mom, everybody. It's just awesome.
And I can tell there's a lot of work involved because I just told the fans opening night here, this car didn't look like it was maybe of a feature winning capability, but I knew you were capable.
Yeah, you kind of motivated me because I heard that comment you made, something about the paint or something like that, so we had to get some paint on it. Now, if we could pick up a few more sponsors, run the rest of the year, we'll be good.
He wants to put some letters over that fresh paint. Hey, talk about this car for just a minute now. When did you build it, and when did you know that you had the stuff to win? Because last year was a struggle for you.
Yeah, I mean, I actually didn't know we had this stuff to win all winter. This car ran here in '02 as the number 14 car, and we basically ripped it down to nothing. My dad, Tracy, was my wife putting up with it in the winter time. I mean, every weekend we were down there a long time. Just tore it to nothing and started all over, and I actually don't expect to be here right now. It worked out.
Well, he dominated the field for his first win in a couple of seasons. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Lemley. He is the Subway Challenge driver starting third. Row 1, the Ford 69 Joe Nicola, the Monte Carlo 57 of Andrew Kostelnik, and we're underway, 20 laps, the Subway Street Stocks. Andrew Kostelnik out to an early lead just as he did in his heat race. Joe Nicola, the 69 car, battling door to door with the 74 of Jason Holder. Kostelnik with a 3 or 4 car length advantage, and then they are stacked up 2 by 2 all the way back through 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Holder finally breaks through for the second position, getting a little bit of daylight between himself and Nicola. Now Nicola being shoved down the front straight by Tavermina. Outside of the Nicola 69 car, it's Sean Phillips in 31. Phillips second in the point standings. And still door to door with Nicola, entering turn 3 with the hammer, waiting to strike in 5th, tonight's Subway Challenge driver. 3 wide on the front straight. Tavermina thinks better of it, pulls back in behind the Nicola 69. Nicola drifting up and moving Phillips up the racetrack with him. Inside line finally opens for Tavermina as he will challenge Phillips for 4th. And with all this heated action going on, Jason Holder is slowly catching leader Andrew Kostelnik. Making a 5-car battle for 3rd. Nicola with less than half a car length between himself and Tavermina and Phillips, who are still door to door entering turn number 3. Bill Henry in the 64 slides to the bottom side of the 05 of Adam Kostelnik. 5 now making 6 cars with Ashton in the 35, all under a blanket fighting for top 5 spots. 3 wide with Bill Henry racing to the grass on the apron of the racetrack. Off-track buddies. The 25 of Tavermina, the 05 of Kostelnik. Very close friends racing very close on the speedway. Working lap number 6 of 20. And Kostelnik finds the high side to his liking, cracking the top 5 from deep in this field. Tavermina in the 25. Kostelnik in the 05, fighting for 5th, while Sean Phillips plays bumper tag with the 69 of Joe Nicola. That's the battle for 3rd. Subway street stock action all over the speedway. That battle for 3rd continues to thrill the fans and probably the drivers alike as they are trading paints and putting tire donuts all over those race cars. Kostelnik on the high side with Phillips in 31 to the low side. Tavermina in 25. All of them fighting with Joe Nicola in 69 with sole possession of third spot. They are losing ground to the top two. All that bumper tag. Nicola may not be the fastest car in that group, but no one can find a way around him, and now a lead challenge on the back straight. Headed into turn number 3, Jason Holder looked to the low side. I don't know where to watch. There's too much happening on the speedway as Nicola has his back bumper turning black from the Phillips 31 car. At the halfway point, 10 laps down, 10 to go. Tavermina gets 2 wheels off the racetrack while Phillips moves to the high line in his attempt to pass Joe Nicola. He finally clears the 69 car. Headed into turn 4. Now they're swapping door paint after they beat the heck out of each other's bumpers. Phillips takes the spot away, brings Kostelnik with him, and Nicola may be off the pace, losing 2 spots in 1 lap. Tavermina unable to follow Kostelnik through that opening, and now Tavermina, the Subway Challenge driver, losing spots on the racetrack. Phillips and Kostelnik now in 3rd and 4th, but almost half a straightaway behind the leaders. And we got a problem. 94 of Dustin Blank spins in turns 3 and 4, and then Jonathan Heilman in the 15 spins. 57 of Andrew Kostelnik brings us back to the green flag pace. 11 of 20 laps completed. Look at Sean Phillips in the 31 car, wasting no time trying to wrestle the 2nd position from Jason Holder. Clearly the Nicola car was holding up Phillips, as now Phillips looking to be maybe one of the fastest machines on the speedway in 3rd spot. He's 2nd in the championship point standings. Bumper to bumper to bumper, and Phillips dirt tracks the car, makes an excellent save. Adam Kostelnik in the 05 is now able to challenge as a result of the miscue from Phillips. A terrific job of driving by everybody involved there as Phillips saved that car from going sideways. And now Andrew Kostelnik has a loose handling condition. The leader's 57 car wiggles out of turn 4 and opens the door for Holder to make contact. Lap 13, and Jason Holder muscles his way to the inside. Andrew Kostelnik will now go side by side with big brother Adam. Phillips is in the 4th spot, and we got a problem in turn 3, but straightened out. The 35 car of Ashton I thought was going to go around after he made contact with Nicola. Green flag stays on the speedway. 6 laps to go, and this one's a thriller. The sad news for you Meatball Sub fans is that Dave Tavermina is losing position on the racetrack. Meanwhile, his close friend Adam Kostelnik has pulled into 2nd and is ready to challenge Jason Holder for a 3rd consecutive feature win. Sean Phillips in 3rd. Nearly won here last week. Nearly won on opening night. Phillips has been among the most consistent in this division. He's in 3rd. Out of turn 4, Holder with nearly 3/4 of a car length advantage over Adam Kostelnik, working lap number 16. Jason Holder won on opening night 2006. He had a couple of wins in 2005. And with brand new sheet metal on that Monte Carlo, leads this one. He led early in the feature event last week, leading to the late stages now with Kostelnik and Phillips right in tow. It's now a 3-car battle for the lead with 3 laps to go. Bill Henry has been the man on the move these last few laps, in the 4th spot now. He moves around the 57 of early leader Andrew Kostelnik. He's also passed the 35 of Ashton in recent laps. Veteran Bill Henry with that old race car making the most of his equipment, while Jason Holder's lead is down to a bumper on lap 18. At the scoring line, the 74 car still officially out in front. But Adam Kostelnik in the 05, the 2-time winner already this season, door to door with Holder, and here comes Sean Phillips looking for the inside lane. White flag in the air this time, and Kostelnik opens up a 2-car length advantage. Final lap, and Adam Kostelnik in the 05 breaks through with a late race pass like he did last week. Jason Holder in 2nd, fighting off the 31 of Sean Phillips. And for a 3rd week in a row out of turn 4, Adam Kostelnik takes the checkered flag. Jason Holder by inches gets the 2nd spot. Well, Adam, there's a lot of patterns that people could see from the way you've been winning these street stock races, and one thing is you're leading very few laps and still finding victory lane each and every week.
Oh, you know what? That car was junk. You know what I mean? Like I said, it was so tight. I had to really use the brakes, and my brake pedal started fading away. I got into Sean a little bit. I didn't mean to do that, but you know what I mean? Hats off to my little brother, and I think that caution don't come out. He would have won that, but like I said, man, I had to work hard for this one.
On a warm night like this, tell us how the track feels different compared to opening night when everybody was wearing heavy coats and sweatshirts here. What does that make the car feel like in the corners on a hot night compared to a cold night?
Actually, on this car, it's a little different than my modified. This one, it was just real loose all night. I had to tighten it up, and like I said, on my modified, we were real loose, or real tight, but I don't know, the track changed, you don't make as much power, but it's the same game for everybody. You could see tonight, there's a lot different cars running better than they did 2 weeks ago and last week, so but we just made the right adjustments. Like I said, man, I worked hard for that, man. I'm out of breath.
And the fans appreciate that show. How about a chance to thank all your sponsors and the crew that also work hard on this machine?
I got to thank Howie Bayless, I can't forget him, photography, Chantel Germack, Tedrick Financial Service, Het Corporation, Stan's Transmission. Can't forget Tube City Beer, because after tonight I'm going to need a bunch of them. Hopefully you'll see me in a little bit.
He's the points leader on the strength of 3 straight victories, Adam Kostelnik in the 05. John Messenger and Rick Miller, row 2. Set to take the green flag, and we are off and racing the Napa NASCAR Super Late Models with 35 laps of action. Glenn Galt Jr. takes an early lead in his first start of the season, and we've got a caution, false start. Well, looking for a career first feature victory. And a similar start to the last one. Let's see what happens here. Neil Brown with significant body damage to the 98 car, and the caution will come out once again. John Messenger and Rick Miller, row number 2. Gary Wiltrout and Mark Catone in row 3. Bobby Henry coming from the 9th starting spot as the green flag waves. A clean start this time. Galt Jr. takes off with an early lead. Side by side, West Virginia's John Messenger and Sean Pilla in the 5. Behind them, a pair of track champions, Gary Wiltrout and Rick Miller, door to door. Neil Brown's body disintegrates on the 98 car and blows the front tire. He is into the outside wall in turn 1. Caution flag will wave for last week's feature winner. Messenger is 3rd. 3-time champ Rick Miller in 4th in the 21 car. Here's the green flag, and now a slow pace chosen by Galt back to the green. Sean Pilla stays glued to the rear bumper of Glenn Galt Jr. Door to door, drivers fighting for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Messenger on the inside in car 51, Rick Miller on the high side in 21. Messenger loses the handle briefly out of 4, but maintains control of the car. Messenger, with a great save of the 51 car, has to back off the throttle, and arch rivals Bobby Henry in the 11 and Rick Miller in 21 will be bumper to bumper in turn number 4. Leader Glenn Galt Jr. opens up a 5 or 6 car length advantage over Sean Pilla. Glenn Galt Jr., the ASA North Tour winner a year ago, making his first start of the season, holding the lead over Motordrome regular Sean Pilla. Now the battle for 3rd, Bobby Henry. The lint flooring Megan Ford looking to the inside of the Zoom Internet. Brooks Automotive Group 21 of Rick Miller. Miller in Roberto Clemente colors with Roberto Clemente number. Losing the 3rd position now in his first start of the season. Bobby Henry in car 11 started in the 9th position, and on lap 5 of 35 has rocketed into the 3rd spot. Working lap number 6, and Sean Pilla in car 5 is able to pull close to the leader each lap in turn 2, although he loses ground on the back straight. Pilla, the runner-up, is now seeing a mirror full of Bobby Henry. Henry in car number 11, the points leader, has not been to victory lane in a feature yet this season after 6 triumphs a year ago. Looking to the inside now. Both residents of Connellsville, Pennsylvania. Bobby Henry slides to the inside of Sean Pilla. Rick Miller in the 21 car will be the next driver to challenge Pilla, the front row starter. Working lap number 8, Glenn Galt, the pole sitter, has led all circuits so far, and Rick Miller is quickly closing on Pilla's number 5 car. Sean Pilla very strong in turn 2, but loses ground each lap in turn 3, allows Miller to pull door to door for third by inches at the scoring line on lap number 9. Pilla hangs on to the 3rd spot, but Rick Miller has the 21 machine to the inside. Gary Wiltrout in the 95 car watches this battle from the 5th position and quickly takes advantage of the hole that Miller made on the bottom. Miller in sole possession of 3rd, Wiltrout up to 4th, a pair of track champions sliding beneath the 5 of Sean Pilla on lap number 10. Miller in 3rd with several car lengths separating himself from Bobby Henry in 2nd and race-long leader Glenn Galt Jr. Bobby Henry in car number 11. Spent many years racing door-to-door with Glenn Galt Sr. here at Motordrome Speedway. And now the son of the former champion out in front toward perhaps a first career Motordrome Speedway victory. Henry in 2nd, Miller in 3rd, Wiltrout in 4th, Sean Pilla 5th. Cars making contact out of turn 4. The 15 of Todd Price had the 8 of Dan Lewis all over his rear bumper as we work lap number 12. That action happening back in the pack, but the leaders have tightened up out of turn number 4. Glenn Galt Jr. from Hubbard, Ohio in car 32. And Bobby Henry from Connellsville, Pennsylvania in the 11 car. Galt Jr., one of the leading winners the last 2 seasons at his home track, the Lake Erie Speedway in Northeast Pennsylvania. Scoring more valuable NASCAR All-American Series points here tonight with his first visit to Motordrome of 2007. Working lap number 14, Bobby Henry in the 11 car has that lead down to about 2 car lengths. Rick Miller in the 21 car not able to gain significantly on the leaders as we approach the midway point of this event in just a couple of laps. Turn number 1, it's lap 16, and Glenn Galt Jr. has led every circuit so far. Bobby Henry inching closer to the rear bumper of the 32 machine each lap. In turn 4, Dave Merrow pits the number 69 machine as the leaders pass by. No traffic in front of the leaders. And lap 17, Glenn Galt Jr. on a speedway where his father rose to national fame in the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series, holding off Bobby Henry with more than 100 career feature victories. Challenge developing for the 4th position. Sean Pilla battles back on Gary Wiltrout here on lap 18. Wiltrout snuck through the opening made by Rick Miller to take that spot away from Pilla, and now the 5 car moves back into 4th. Leaders down the back straight. Rick Miller perhaps gaining just a little bit on the lead duo as Glenn Galt Jr. trying to hold off Bobby Henry, and Henry's most serious challenge is mounted each lap out of turn 4. This time Henry keeps the front fender of the 11 car glued to the bottom. Galt washes up the racing surface 2 lanes, and the leaders are door to door down the back straight. 15 laps to go, and Glenn Galt Jr.'s lead in serious jeopardy as veteran Bobby Henry moves his Ford to the inside. Clear racetrack all the way down the front straight. Galt maintains the point position at the scoring line. Soon the Chris Bailey number 17 car will be in front of the leaders, and Henry with a slight miscue. Galt gains 6 or 7 car lengths advantage in the lead as they pass by the number 17 car of Bailey. Back in the 5th spot, meanwhile, as the front action settles down, Will Thomas in car 9. The Mara Tour champion makes a move on Gary Wiltrout. It's lap 22, and Thomas in car 9 finds himself in the top 5 for the first time this event. He was 2nd a week ago. and pulling away from Wiltrout as the leaders are bumper to bumper again on lap 23. Galt Jr. giving plenty of racing room to the inside for Bobby Henry to make a pass. Henry capitalizes and moves to the inside. Galt has officially led every lap to this point, but Henry's number 11 car finally clearing race-long leader Glenn Galt Jr. on the front straight. New leader is Bobby Henry at lap 24, nearly making contact in turn 1 as Galt tries to maintain the second position. Rick Miller only about 5 or 6 car lengths from the back bumper of Galt Jr. The Ohio driver in second spot, surrounded by the 2 racers with more laps than any other active competitors around the Motordrome Speedway. 10 laps to go, and Bobby Henry's Paula Grudo Motorsports, number 11, showing the way over Galt Jr. and Rick Miller in his first start of the season. Behind the lead trio, Will Thomas, who just recently took away the 5th position from Gary Wiltrout, has gained on Sean Pilla in 4th. Bobby Henry in turns 3 and 4 has to get on the binders as the lap car of Ricky Megley, holding up progress of the leaders slightly on lap number 28. Glenn Galt Jr. still in the second spot. Rick Miller a couple car lengths away in third. Sean Pilla 4th, Will Thomas in 5th. Laps to go for Bobby Henry in car number 11. He's opened up a lane. We've got a problem in turn 2. Sean Pilla in the 5 car spins just in front of Will Thomas in the lap car of Ricky Megley with 5 to go. Sean Pilla, who drove an outstanding race for 30 laps, has the 5 car at a stop in turn number 2. Tough break. The first victory of the season. He's the points leader, and a hole shot start gives him 5 or 6 car lengths advantage over Glenn Galt Jr. No start that time, caution flag, no start as Bobby Henry got a jump on Glenn Galt Jr. in turn 4. Speedway veteran Bobby Henry of Connellsville, set to go back to green flag racing. 5 laps to go and we're underway. Wiltrout in the 95 car immediately resumes the battle with Will Thomas for 4th spot. Wiltrout, the former Motordrome champion. Thomas, the defending Mara Series champion. Door to door in turn number 4. And Thomas by inches hangs on to the spot on lap 31. Will Thomas in the 9, the Sharpsville, Pennsylvania driver, charged from deep in this field to a top 5 position. And on the back straight, John Komarinsky spins the 33 car. Very same speakers, but that was Glenn Galt Sr., as he has now handed the reins to his young son, and the green flag is out. Rick Miller makes a charge on the runner-up position. Miller in car 21 sneaks around the outside of Glenn Galt Jr. with 4 laps remaining. Rick Miller, who came just a few points shy of being the ASA National Tour Rookie of the Year in the mid-1990s, is now challenging arch-rival Bobby Henry for a win. Several car lengths of clear racetrack separate those 2 arch-rivals with 3 laps to go. Galt Jr. is back to 3rd. Will Thomas has fought off Gary Wiltrout for sole possession of 4th. Signal given to leader Bobby Henry for 2 laps to go. Henry from the 9th starting position, climbing to the lead and with about 12 car lengths advantage over Rick Miller, making his first start of the year, could cruise to victory as the white flag waves. Galt Jr. in third may feel the pressure of the advancing Will Thomas before they reach the scoring line for the final lap. Into turns 3 and 4. So many times a runner-up in the championship points chase, and leading the championship chase early in the season, Bobby Henry gets his first win of 2007 over Rick Miller, Glenn Galt Jr., Will Thomas, and Gary Wiltrout. Well, Bobby, lining up 9th on the starting grid with a host of track champions in front of you, it had to look like a pretty difficult task coming from that deep in the field with a field of this quality.
I'll tell you what, man, this field this year is awesome here at Motordrome. I mean, and I think it's going to do nothing but get better each week. I mean, I know those starts look bad, but the crate motors have a problem taking off. I mean, that's a proven fact. They've been running for 3 years now, and they never take off. That's the only difference between these two motors right now. After they get going, they're pretty much even, but they just don't take off. And I mean, there's nothing you can do about it.
And you bring up a great point about the crate motor. Tell us first of all about the motor inside the Ford Fusion right here in Victory Lane. Are you using the open or the crate?
No, this is an open motor built by Jimmy Freeline and Jet Engines, and it's a good one. We didn't do anything to it over the winter because we know it's going to come to a crate motor eventually here, so we didn't put any more money to it. But it's still a good one.
And you had a couple of crate motors surrounding you for a while you were in the top 3 there. Let's talk about taking the lead from a young driver. Not very many starts at Motordrome for Glenn Galt Jr., and you come up on a guy like Rick Miller, Gary Wiltrout. You kind of know their moves. Was it a little scarier for you approaching a driver that you haven't raced with very often?
No, I know he's a good driver, and that means a lot when you're running behind somebody, and he's good and steady, and his dad was about the best there was, so he's a good one. I wasn't worried about too much, but he was holding his line. He was pretty tough to get around. And again, I'd like to thank Richard and Joan Paul Agruda for letting me have this ride. And sponsors Larry Lent Flooring, Megan Ford, Stone and Company, Quality Support, Bob Mongell Car Care, Daily Courier, Courtyard Catering, RGE Wireless. And that's probably about it, man. We can't do without them.
And leading the points on the strength of a feature victory in round number 3 of the NASCAR Whelen All-American Series, ladies and gentlemen, Bobby Henry. Gary Scott and Ben Easler leading the Lincoln Welders modified field toward their 20-lap feature. Green flag is out. We're underway. Problems in turn 1, the 01 of Harry Ofer and the 58 of Lonnie Hoffman coming together. 2 drivers who were also involved in an incident last week midway through this event. Harry Ofer in the 01 from Bell Vernon, a J-Yard chassis. And that car has been very fast the opening couple of weeks. Tough break for him, and Lonnie Hoffman with a brand new left-hander chassis. Looks like the car of Hoffman, the 58 machine, absolutely would not turn at the end of the front straight, and the hometown hero will need a tow truck. Easler on the front row. Strangely enough, Gary Scott, the pole sitter, has been the mentor to young Ben Easler, who starts outside of him, and here's the green flag. It's the student and not the teacher that takes off with the early lead, Ben Easler from Allison Park. Young driver who was tutored and mentored by Gary Scott, and Scott now shows the low line of the speedway to his protege and will lead lap number 1. Gary Scott opens up a big lead on Ben Easler. Bo Glemba slides the 99 car out of turn 2. That allows Jim Nicola in the 5, a former champion, and Tom Frank in the 6 to move into 3rd and 4th place. Jim Nicola, every which way but loose on the front straight in car 5. Nicola avoided wall contact somehow and kept that thing pointed the right direction. Allows young Tom Frank in car 6 to challenge for 3rd position in the inside lane. Tom Frank in the 6th car, completing the pass of Jim Nicola at the scoring line, working lap number 3 of 20. Tom Frank into third, Ben Easler riding in second, and a big lead for Gary Scott, front row starter in car 16. Two of the youngest Lions in the division, second and third on the racetrack. Veteran Jim Nicola fourth, and Bo Glemba back to the fifth spot after a miscue early in the race, working lap number 5 of 20. Easler in the 7, Tom Frank, and George Nicola gets together with the 99 of Bo Glemba. Terrific job of driving by everybody behind the 99 car, spinning to bring out the caution, Bo Glemba. Looking for a first win. Ben Easler starting from second, and his mentor Gary Scott taking the green flag with 15 laps remaining. Tom Frank in the 6 car mounts a challenge to Ben Easler's number 7 car. Easler has been involved in accidents not of his own making the last 2 weeks in a row and surrenders the runner-up spot to Tom Frank. Nearly 3 wide in the fight for third. Here comes Kostelnik in 60. Adam Kostelnik started deep in this field and has driven to the 3rd spot already. The 04 of Bob Shipp is making a valiant run. Bob Shipp, the former Charger champion in 04, is to the inside of Jim Nicola and closing on Ben Easler's 7 car. Jim Nicola spins across the front of the 3 of Chris Brink. The 2 cars are hooked together in turn number 2. We're going to need a caution flag on lap 7. Jim Nicola in the 5 locked up the nose of Chris Brink's number 3. Chris Brink, a modified rookie, and Jim Nicola, the longtime veteran. Gary Scott jumps on the go pedal in turn number 3, and young Tom Frank loses a couple of car lengths. Adam Kostelnik in a 3-car breakaway from the rest of this field with 13 laps to go. 2 similarly painted orange automobiles, not teammates in any way. Adam Kostelnik, the defending champion in 60, and Tom Frank, the young Cleveland driver, in 2nd. Gary Scott, a big winner last season, has yet to find victory lane in 2007. Scott last season a 4-time feature winner. His 2005 campaign was cut short by a horrendous accident on the front straight, and he was nearly a championship contender that season. Tom Frank changes lanes, trying to protect the 2nd position from the advances of Adam Kostelnik. Kostelnik in the 60 car, diving to the bottom. If he completes this pass, he will have advanced 10 spots in our first 10 laps. Kostelnik is now the runner-up from 12th to 2nd at the halfway point of this event. Gary Scott has had things easy all his way out in front of this field, and now Kostelnik, who may be the fastest car on the track, has clear speedway between himself and the leader Gary Scott. Challenge for the 4th position on the front straight, Bob Shipp in the 04 and the 7 of Ben Easler. Also, Harry Ofer in the 01 has closed up to that battle. Ofer had that problem on lap number 1 and has passed several automobiles to challenge for a top 5 position. Three cars fighting for the 4th position. Bob Shipp looking to the inside of Ben Easler, takes that spot away quickly, and Harry Ofer follows. Harry Ofer, a J-Yard chassis, and Ben Easler also a J-Yard chassis, but perhaps a damaged one tonight for Easler after that heat race incident. Working lap number 13, Harry Ofer into the top 5. Bob Shipp is 4th. Tom Frank 3rd. 2nd, Adam Kostelnik, and he is gaining, but only slightly, on leader Gary Scott. With 6 laps remaining, Kostelnik may need a caution flag to mount a serious challenge for another night of twin feature victories. 5 laps to go. The signal given to leader Gary Scott. And Adam Kostelnik is closing, but not fast enough. Tom Frank is all by himself in 3rd. Bob Shipp has broken away from Harry Ofer with the 4th position. Ben Easler doing a great job with what might be a damaged number 7 car, hanging on to the 6th position as George Nicola in the 97 has climbed back to 7th after that spin early in the event. Leaders headed into turn 3. The Chris Brink number 3 car looms in front of the leaders as the only lap traffic they will see to the conclusion of this event. And with 3 to go, Gary Scott is losing ground to Adam Kostelnik, but will probably see the checkered flag unless there's a caution flag. Kostelnik started 12th and suddenly gains about 4 car lengths. Adam Kostelnik will make a race of this, and we have the caution that Kostelnik needed. On the back straight, the 40 of Brian Shipp and the 47 of Dave McManus have spun to the inside. Again, perhaps these cars are locked together on the back straight, McManus and Shipp. Kostelnik may have used up all the tires climbing from 12th to 2nd. Scott has been on cruise control since the wave of the green flag. Let's see how it plays out. Green flag on lap 17. Kostelnik was gaining quickly. Scott opened up a 2 or 3 car length advantage at the wave of the green, and now Kostelnik is right there to challenge. 2 laps to go. Last year's 2 biggest winners in modified competition. Kostelnik with 2 wins already this season. Scott looking for a first of 07. That time Scott gets 3 or 4 car lengths advantage. Maybe this is the first time he's had to use all that car has to offer. The white flag is in the air and Scott is pulling away. Gary Scott didn't have a close competitor all event long, and as soon as he saw the orange bumper of Adam Kostelnik, he punches the go pedal, and in turn 4 widens the margin to his first convincing victory of 2007. Gary Scott over Adam Kostelnik, Tom Frank, Bob Shipp, and Harry Ofer. Well, Gary, you started on the front row, and it looked kind of easy, but you did something nobody's been able to do all season long, and that's hand a loss to Adam Kostelnik. It's the first race he's lost all season long, and you were the man to stop him.
It was a pleasure.
Now, I know you guys in the modified division are all really good friends. Now, tell me this. When you saw that 60 car poking under you in that last lap, was that the first time you had to use all that this car had tonight?
Well, I was trying to be cool, but no, I was going for it. I saw the scoreboard. He was like the 11th lap. I think he was in 2nd place, so that means go, you know.
So you're watching your fellow competitors up there on the scoreboard each lap.
You have to. I mean, you know, if you want to plan the rest of the race, you have to.
I was telling the fans about how many feature wins you have at this speedway, but never a championship. Is this the year that point standings are going to mean something to the Gary Scott race team?
I don't know. We had a bad week last week. That doesn't help, so we got to dig out of a hole now.
This beautiful race car always comes to the race looking like a showpiece. Tell us about the crew and sponsors that have this good-looking machine hooked up so fast.
Well, the crew, obviously, Peanuts, Sal, Eddie, who's getting ready to come out. My brother Dan, will be back from Florida next week. He's a snowbird, so he'll be back with us. As far as sponsors, we got a new sponsor this year, the Clarks, good friends of mine, obviously in the music business. Ed's Auto, Swiss Phone Music, Imperial Heights Chassis, Jayard Boys, Peanuts and the guys. And then Sylvan Alternative Power Supply, and you know, Drew's Family Restaurant, and I'd like to thank Tom Bosnick for the motor.
I explained to the fans that the entire front row, yourself and Ben Easler, good friends, and you sort of tutored Ben Easler along through his career. He blew you away on that start. Was that something you let him have?
I missed the shift. That was my fault. I missed the shift, and I had to get it back quick. So
the student taught the teacher early on lap 1, huh?
Yeah, I got nervous and just, you know, I was worried about where he was and just totally went to neutral.
Well, you had it in the right gear to collect your first victory of the season. Ladies and gentlemen, from Irwin, Pennsylvania, Gary Scott. 05 of Giles and 77 of Matthews make it an all Mopar front row. Dodge Shadow and Dodge Daytona, then Ludwig in the Pontiac Grand Am, and a slew of Cavaliers take him to the green flag for the American Flyers. 8-lap feature. Matthews in the 77 car went to victory last year more than once with a completely different paint scheme on that car. Ed Deneen in the 16 car, the division's all-time leading winner, diving to the bottom, taking away 4th spot. Andy Giles hanging on to 2nd where he finished last week. 61, Ron Eifert III, the teenager. Mixing it up in top 5 positions. Ed Deneen, the 2005 track champion, to the outside in car 16. Driver in 2nd on the Speedway, Ed Deneen, has won both feature events so far this season. Leader Jay Matthews was the heat race winner tonight, and they may be slugging it out at the checkered flag come lap 8. If you'd like to become a competitor in the American Flyers division, just visit the MOTORDROME website and get yourself a set of rules. You can build a car, and we've got contact heavily in turn number 3. The 61 of Ron Eifert was hit by the 6 of Frank Pagnotta. Both cars briefly went into the apron of the racetrack, but the green flag stays out. 4 laps down, 4 laps to go. Jay Matthews, the leader, is losing ground to the 16 of Ed Deneen. That lead was once huge, and it is diminishing in a hurry as 2 of the fastest machines in this division will see the checkered flag in 3 laps. Each time Deneen gets 2 wheels of that Cavalier into the dirt below turns 1 and 2, but it's not slowing him down. Look at the straightaway power of 16. Jay Matthews thought he was all by himself, and in one move, Deneen in turn 3 puts that machine to the outside, door to door at the line. A dead heat, lap number 6. Deneen throws the back end of the car out, which is tough to do when you're front wheel drive. This one might get ugly before the checkered flag. It's entry-level racing. There's no money on the line, but watch as pride takes over. Ed Deneen closing into the back of Jay Matthews at the wave of the white flag. Deneen still putting a wheel in the grass each lap. Leaders on the back straight approaching. Mary Catherine Shimko's 44 car. It's Dodge versus Chevrolet. Matthews chooses the high lane. Deneen is within striking distance on the bottom. And by less than just a car length, it's Jay Matthews getting the win over Ed Deneen. Could you sit these on? Come on over here, Jay. That was what you call a hard-fought victory, because the last couple laps you had the division's all-time leading winner breathing down your neck. And I cannot convince those fans, as hard as you guys were racing, that all you get's a trophy.
It's worth every bit of this trophy.
You guys were fighting harder than all the guys with the big paychecks on the line. Tell us a little bit about the car. Same car as last year, but it has a whole completely new look to it. Let's talk about the race team.
We went to the paint shop this year, No Whack Painting, and he hooked us up pretty good. Tri-State Flooring came on this year, big help. West Side Tire, they help out once in a while. I guess it's West Side Lube and Tire, I'm sorry.
Finally, somebody gets those words in the right order, as Frank Turek didn't for so many years. But this car, a Dodge, and any changes you made over the wintertime? Did you work under the hood as well as painting the top of it? Because it seems just as fast as last year. Did you make any changes?
Got 3 teammates, Bill Oldham, Jim Stokes, and Matt. We got a little team together, put some fresh paint on it, and
so it's brain power, that's what you're saying. It's all the help, it's not the ride.
Yeah. It shut off twice going down the backstretch, and that, I don't know what happened, but it completely shut off the last 2 laps. Well, before the last lap, 5th and 6th, or 6th and 7th.
It has to mean a lot when you beat a guy like Ed Deneen, who's won a championship and so many other features. You know you've beaten the best tonight.
Oh yeah, you beat Ed, you really did it.
He really did it tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Jay Matthews, first win of 2007.